We were taught that everything good was white and everything bad was black. For an example, Jesus Christ, we see a white man. The angels, we see white. The Lord's Supper, we see white. Miss America, we see white. Miss Universe, we see white. Miss World, we see white. Even Tarzan in the jungles of Africa, we see a white man ruling Africa. And we have White Owl cigars, White Swan soap, King White soap, White Cloud tissue paper, White Rain hair rinse, White Tornado flow wax, White Plus toothpaste. All you good cowboys in your Western Road white horses. The president stays in a White House. The white man 50 years ago told my granddaddy that when my daddy got free, things would be better. When he got grown. Now my daddy's grown. Somebody told my daddy that when I got grown, things would be better. Now I'm grown. Now I have the white boy today telling me that when my children get grown, things will be better. So they'll see that this is just the old trick. Black people, you notice, didn't vote for no president's holiday this year because every 4 years it's a new trick, a new phony fake image, and they have given up today. They want to do it themselves. They want to go for self. They want to pool together and unite like the Jews did. At one time, Jews and dogs wasn't allowed on Miami Beach, and the Jews got mad and united and bought Miami Beach. So this is what they want to do today, you understand?
Clay's picture looks down on a supermarket where blacks are trying to do what the Jews did. Unite and help each other. This Buy Black campaign tries to get customers to buy products from Negro manufacturers and so keep their money in the black community. The campaign, called Operation Breadbasket, has been going on for 2 years, and it's run by Negro ministers from Dr. Martin Luther King's civil rights movement.
Take a bit there, me too.
White supermarkets like this are boycotted by Operation Breadbasket if they don't stock enough black goods and hire enough black employees. Operation Breadbasket believes that black pride stems from black economic power, and the boycott is one way to get that power. Every Saturday morning, Operation Breadbasket meets in a Baptist church to hear its leader, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Jackson's sessions are a cross between a Negro revivalist meeting and a Black Power rally. He himself looks more like a black militant than a follower of Martin Luther King. Our This Week British film crew soon got a taste of what Jackson meant by black men doing all the jobs in the ghetto.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the ministers of Operation Breadbasket and the many brothers and sisters that comprise our organization, I would like to express my gratitude for your being here. We have several important items and issues to deal with today. The Passion Play and Black Easter, the picketing, and some fights we're involved in. But before we get started, there's a black taping company in town.
Jackson's view was that in the black ghetto, we should employ a black film crew. Otherwise, we couldn't film.
Those of you with the British Broadcasting Company, I wish you would refrain from taping anymore until y'all clear up a little matter with them. We have a black company that is attempting I think y'all ought to have the privilege to tape, but it must be up on the base of respecting black people. That's what this meeting, this particular meeting, is all about. So until we get that matter straight, I wish you cut them lights off. And the chief problem in America is that blacks are on the, have been put on an inferior delusion because we've been locked out of the sunshine of opportunity. But the white folk have been living in a superior illusion, and they have been overexposed to the sun. They think they're more than what they actually are. And the fact is, they cannot find out how tall they are until they stand on the ground and get off of our shoulders and off of our backs. And we're going to give them the privilege to be men and not let them think that they're supermen.
Good morning, all you beautiful black children and handsome and distinguished-looking teachers.
The black man is finding himself in history, too. On Chicago's South Side, black schoolchildren commemorate for the first time ever an unsung hero of the American Revolution against Britain, a Negro called Crispus Attucks, who on March the 5th, 1770, became the first man to die for America in the War of Independence.
199 years ago, in the city of Boston, on King Street, in the Boston Common, there was an uprising of patriots.
Many black militants are now demanding that black history is made compulsory in schools and universities and be taught only by black teachers.
People have Columbus Day, the Irish have St. Patrick's Day, and the reason you are here today is because a group of black insurance people decided that it was about time that black people have a day, because we have more heroes probably than any other racial group in the United States. As a matter of fact, anybody who has survived is a hero. Many people are going to say this must be a fabrication, that there couldn't have been a black man dying for this country in Boston in 1770. But it did happen. You know, just as many people don't want to believe that there were black sailors on the ships of Columbus, that black explorers, long before we were delivered here in 1619, there were black explorers who helped open up the Southwest. There were black scouts, there were black cowboys. A lot of things are coming out now. Many black people couldn't have believed 5 years ago that there were such things as black cowboys. Now we discover that about 1/5 of the Wild West cowboys and some of your most dangerous and deadly shots were black men. And the tragedy really is that the whole country has been denied a knowledge of its own people. I mean, white people should really know more about us. We know about white people, but they don't know about us. And since we can't educate white people, we held this program down here today. At least we can educate ourselves.
With the renewed pride in black history goes a cult of Africa, the Negro homeland. Once this youth club would have had Negro spirituals on its program. Now modern black Americans mimic the motions and the modes of Africa. Among this Chicago group, African dress, hairstyles, and even names are in vogue. American names are rejected because they were given by white slave masters. So the members have adopted names like Kenyatta and Uhuru instead.
Nigerian dashiki. One of the students brought this to us.
A few years ago, a Nigerian dashiki would have been considered eccentric. Now, Afro fashions are all the rage. Boutiques have sprung up all over the city, making some areas look more like Ghana than the ghetto.
They're sort of tight under the arm. I think maybe you can get it over that.
Some of it is obviously a mere fashion fad that will pass with the moment. But part of this Afro boom is bound up with black pride and black separateness, a desire not to look like other Americans. Even the Negro middle classes have their dashikis.
Well, what do you think is the reason for this Afro-American styling now? What's the big impulse behind it?
I think it's the new black awareness that we have. We're tired of the American styles. We found that the African styles just suit us better. The looseness, I suppose, the color.
But would this be for everyday wear or only special occasions?
Well, during the summer, our guys wear them every day. But they've also found that when they're going on a job, you know, going to work or something, they can't wear them. I suppose because it's unorthodox.
You wouldn't. What would you wear this for?
Eventually, we'd be wearing them on the job and every place, I guess. I mean,
All the
as far
time?
as I can
You think
see.
you'd be wearing it all the time?
Eventually, yes.
You know, it belongs to blackness. This is it. This is the feeling we have. In fact, some of our girls just will not wear the short dresses anymore. They'd rather wear the long dresses. The turbans, we have cloth. Some of our cloth over there we wrap for the girls as a turban, you know, to go with our natural hairstyles.
Don't you think it's strange and a bit ironic that in Africa, a lot of middle-class Africans are trying to look like Europeans, having suits, discarding the old things, and here you are, black people in America, the most modern country in the world, wanting to look like Africans again.
I do think it's strange, you know, I really do. They have such beautiful women, beautiful clothes. Why should they want to emulate the white man? But they just can't help it. They can't. You know, they're going through the stage that we went through. It's that psychological thing. And we're coming out of it, you know.
And this is all part of the militancy, I'm black and proud, do you think, all this?
I'm black and I'm proud. When you say militancy, you immediately think of revolution, fighting, burning down. We don't, you know, we're not like that, you know, not that kind of militancy. It's a revolution, style revolution, cultural revolution. Our children are thinking differently from the way in which we thought when we were young. You know, we can say, call a child now black, and he's proud of it. But when I was a child, if you called me black, you know, I was insulted. You know, and it's that thing. Our little children now are wearing the naturals.
The natural is the hairstyle of the Black Revolution. Once, Negroes spent many hours and dollars trying to get their hair straightened to look like white people. Now, many are getting it made curly again for the African look. Erskine Coleman, now called Atimora Saidu, is the high priest of the natural. A black Mr. Teasy Weezy with a message.
We don't consider naturals to be a fad. It's not a fad. If it was a fad, then it wouldn't have lasted in New York this long. This is because today, black people are waking up. It takes some longer than others. This is very much a part of our identifying ourselves, you might say. This is just about all we have left to identify ourselves as.
What, hair?
Hair, this is true, because I often hear that it doesn't matter about the hair, what way you wear your hair, but it's very important, the image that you portray.
So what's exactly you doing now?
What
this
I'm
was
doing-
formerly straightened, it's
Right.
now being curled back again.
Right, and it was most simple to curl it back, because all we had to do was give her a shampoo, and it returned her hair to its original state, which is what I would term a medium coarse, curly braid of hair. And what I'm doing now is giving her a full bouffant natural hairstyle by shaping the hair according to the individual. See, we're not copying after anyone like this. And we also know that we are not Africans. We know this too, because we're too, the blood stream has been too integrated. We're only trying to establish ourselves. And we can only establish ourselves, like any other people, through our heritage, our ancestors. And when they came over here on the boats, they didn't bring straightening combs or these other bits. And yet they were beautiful people. Today they're the same. They wear their hair braided in various styles. They don't wear their hair, many of them don't, they don't wear their hair like this. You know, they wear it braided, some wear shaven heads, you know, according to different tribes. But what we're trying to do as, say, black people who unfortunately was born in this country are trying to establish our identity. It's necessary to unite before move. You must have a foundation. This is a foundation to blackness.
There are now black bookshops to deal specifically with the outpourings of black awareness. The titles reveal the new mood. Less concerned with integration and getting along with white people, more concerned with black independence and black power.
Black power to black people. Black power to black people. Panther power to the vanguard.
A meeting of the Chicago chapter of the Black Panther Party, perhaps the fastest growing militant organization in America. Their aim is revolution, their weapon is the gun. The Panthers claim the guns are for self-defense. Revolutionary instruction was interrupted when one black militant started to threaten our white film crew, calling them dogs and honkies, the favorite Negro word of abuse for all white men.
The Black Panther Party is a revolutionary political party. We're talking about involving ourselves in a worldwide revolution that's going on around the world today. Dig it? So when we talk about, we realize that in this country, you know, that like maybe 99% of the white people in this country. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
Behind the fuck, all y'all gonna talk. Keep y'all stupid motherfuckers out of our meeting. And I'm ready to.
Although Panther leaders claim they're not anti-white, their appeal to young blacks clearly comes from their guns and their willingness to use them against white people. The leadership still maintains it will unite with any revolutionaries, even white ones.
Shut your goddamn mouth and listen. We are about having coalition with any revolutionary type people, anti-American, all subversive people, anything that want to take a part in destroying this system. And that's what the Black Panther Party is about.
We're not trying to take y'all trying to put it up with these hunkies here. See, because y'all trying to copy this friendship with these dogs, and nobody need a dog friendship. I gotta say this here. Ain't no big thing going to us on one thing.
You ain't gotta say nothing else.
The frustrations of ghetto youth are tailor-made for the Panthers. Militants want action and a simple program. The Panthers demand the release of all black prisoners from all jails and a United Nations plebiscite for black Americans to decide their future. If this doesn't happen, they threaten guerrilla warfare.
Come on. I'm ready to change the situation. Come on, man. Y'all don't put on them motherfuckers. I put on them, though. I bust their motherfucking head, because y'all ain't shit. Y'all dogs, man. Don't ever forget that.
Why don't you go on outside?
I know that.
It seems like to me that you're trying to show you a bad man, brother. Why don't you go on outside? Ain't nobody scared to do nothing with no white people and call them hunkies. Ain't nobody scared to tell one of them they'll kill them. So why don't you just go on outside?
Right on.
The objector finally left, exclaiming the only good honky was a dead honky.
Being radical, a liberal, what the fuck is a cut up honky. It's a head cut up honky.
That's how they organize it, yeah!
When your head is off your shoulders, rolling across the motherfucking street with a little black baby kicking it down the sewer, motherfucker. That's the only way you're going to mount any damn thing. The same thing you told the Indians, only good Indians are dead, and it will apply to you too.
Before the revolution comes, and is important indeed essential, fighting front in the General Revolutionary Front during the revolution. This is what we're doing. This is why you see Black Panthers with machine guns. You see sisters with machetes and rifles on their back, carrying babies. This is the culture that we did, the only culture that we interjected to the black community.
We do have access to guns. We do understand the necessity of a gun. We do understand that the political power and any other type of power you talk about flows from the barrel of a gun. And if we come into a situation where a gun is needed, then we have the ability to get that gun, have the ability to pick up that gun, and we have the ability to use that gun. You know, I think it's an important thing.
And if you got a man on the street that's carrying a gun and killing your people, you don't call for nobody that's gonna kneel down and pray to him. You call for a man to stand up right next to him with a gun and meet him face to face. And then you find that the majority of the time that you step out on the street and you run into this man, you find that he's a coward. And the majority of the time, he'll back away from you.
Now, all we're saying is that if there is to be violence, which there will be, the continuation of violence is going to change in the transition because it's going to be a two-way street. The blood has to flow down. What we're saying is that there has always been violence, but now the violence will be reciprocal in that where violence is heaped upon black people and they come down to the black community and vamp down on black people violently, then what they're going to start finding is not only that we will retaliate to the physical maximum, but they will also find their communities being vamped down on and violence heaped upon their communities.
Any wise man know in his right mind that a few black people with a few rifles and pop guns bucking the most powerfulest military country on the planet. America's maybe losing some $16 million a day in Vietnam, losing planes and helicopters worth millions, losing thousands of men, black and white, and America still strong, still powerful. And anybody in their right mind know that a few black people with a rifle or a machine gun on the roof of some building will never be able to make any revolution. It would be like you trying to jump up and fight me now. It wouldn't be a revolution, it would be a slaughter. So
I'm not thinking of that at the moment.
So you're smart. So people today are not looking for real violence. You have a few preachers of it, but if they actually had to get out and do it, would nobody follow them? One black man believes in violence, one believes in integration, one believes that one day after we all marry white women, we'll all be a light brown color and there'll be no problem. One believes that if we get enough politics and education, we can take over the country and be the mayor and the president. One believes, such as I, that separating on some land will solve it. Cleaning up our own neighborhoods, respecting our own women, and doing something for ourselves and quit begging white people. This is our solution. So I can't condemn no black people who are fighting as far as their knowledge will allow.
Jackson thinks black pride may heal America. The Panthers believe they may have to use it to tear America down. But black pride need not necessarily lead to black separatism or black revolution. For beneath the excesses of the movement, there is a gentler revolution going on, to make the ordinary Negro, like this lady cab driver, proud of the black past and more hopeful for the black future.
We used to be ashamed of anything that smacked of culture. We used to be ashamed that our ancestors were slaves, and you could insult a black person by saying your ancestor was an African. You know, you just like those cannibals in the jungle saying mumbo jumbo. And we never thought there was anything good in that. And then it was pointed out that this is good, that there is nothing wrong with that. There isn't anything as embarrassing or anything to be ashamed of in that as, you know, any other background. And so I think this will stick. I don't think that this is just a fad. I think this, like I said, people has been shown that their background and ancestry and cultural values are no worse than anyone else's. And this is important.